everybody, welcome back to the Claremont Classic Garage. We got the old Ram 2500 fired up and we're heading to the boneyard. I see they put something interesting in the one that I normally go to, so we're gonna go check it out. Well, we made it in. Anybody wanting a Jag rear end or a Jag front end for your hot rod? Well, here it is. Unreal. What year is this thing? 03, I think that means. Nice cars, eh? These Jags. Wow. Look at the inside. The seats are nice still. Wow. What a nice car. I can't open the hood. It's a 6. I don't see V12 badges on it. I don't know if they even still had the V12 by the time they were, you know, 03. Nice car though. A little rust on it, but not too bad. Got a fresh 4th gen here. Let's check it out. Looks like a tradesman or whatever we call the kind of base truck. We'll just have a look at it. Pretty rotten. It's Line X'd. Yeah, she's been worked hard. Quad cab. Yeah. Huh. Same as the 3rd gen, I think. Heavy. So yeah, these 4th gens are really starting to pop up now in numbers. Here's the old 67 Ford still languishing here. I still can't believe that somebody scrapped this, nor can I believe that the dash is still in it. Weird. Well, here's what we came to see, and it's kind of disappointing. This is a 1969 Lincoln Continental Mark III. Oh. That's kind of neat. We'll grab that. That is a first year. I believe 69 is the first year for the 460. And this frame is very similar to what's under a Galaxy. So if you wanted to put a 429 or a 460 in like a 65 up Galaxy, you need the motor mounts and exhaust manifolds and stuff from this car to do it. Unfortunately, I guess maybe because she's so rotten, they didn't put it up on stands. So I was very curious to see, you know, what it has for a rear end in it, but I guess we're not going to get that chance. Let's see if we can get the door open and read the tag. There we go. See, some dickhead took the tag. So now you can't even tell what it's got for a rear end. Unreal. Let's see if we can get in the trunk. It's pretty decked out. It's got air conditioning. It's got cruise control. Goofy old factory stuff. There's the diaphragm there that used to pull it. You can see it. It's not doing much pulling now. A 4300 carburetor. It looks like the later ones they had a spread bore, which was a 4350. Looks like crappy ignition parts. These old cars, you pull the cap off. Always looking for the old blue Streak lubripoints. Man, they're so good and they're so hard to find anymore. The rad doesn't look too old, and it's got a shroud on it. Can't see inside if it's any good or not. C8 part number on it. That's 68. Must have had a tilt column, maybe tilt telly. Somebody's taken that. AM FM stereo. Yeah, pretty nice car. I guess it had hideaway headlights. I think these things had hideaways. Well, there it is. There's our 9-inch rear end. Once I got the trunk open, it was, well, pretty easy to get the floor and the gas tank out of it. It's just, well, I'm curious now to find out, how do I figure out if it's got a track lock in it? There's usually a tag on one of the bolts. I'm kind of thinking I got to cut now that shelf above the rear end and see if I can look down in front of it with my camera and see if there's a tag on it. Well, I got the rear end almost ready to come out of the car, but without, I got to get the car up a little bit. So, well, there's no, excuse me. There's no jacks in here, but maybe I could find a great big old drive shaft or something to use as a pry bar. If I can just get it up a little bit and like slide that tire underneath the back of it, it would help a lot. Anyway, I'm gonna take a mental break from this right now and go do something else. Well, I managed to get the windshield out of the LTD without breaking it. That's handy. It's a tint one too, because it was an AC car. You can never have too many windshields around. I've got 2 cars that they fit, and I'll be very, very happy to have that kicking around. Well, I finally got it out of the car. Now, we're not out of the woods. Man, that was a lot of work to get this thing out. But it's out. So now what we got to do is get at least one brake drum off, so we can find out if it's a track lock or not. This is a lot of work. I'm taking a big chance, but it was an expensive car, so there's a good chance it might have one. So you can see here, bummer. I turned the pinion, and only one wheel turns. So she's a one-wheel peeler. Super duper. And now it's starting to rain. I might have to go hide in the car for a few minutes. Now it started raining, so we're going to hide out in this van for a few minutes. Little thunderstorm going through. Man, it's really coming down. I'm glad. I looked up in the sky and I said, man, I think something nasty is coming. So I grabbed some stuff that I found laying around and covered up my tool wagon so my tools don't get all full of water. They'll probably still need some drying out when I get home, but wow, it really opened up. You can see now it's kind of bright. It's kind of bright over there, so hopefully that won't take too long for that to get here. Man, I was almost done my work. It seems to be slowing down a little bit now. That was quite a little storm. Hopefully I can get my work done now before the next one comes through, because usually when these things start coming through, it's one after another for the rest of the day. I was going to go to another junkyard this afternoon, but I guess we'll save that for another day. I think it's still maybe going to end up on this video, but we'll see how much content we get from our adventure today, if we ever get out of this van. You can see on the windshield here, this is an 04 Caravan. I don't think it's a Grand. No, it's just a short one. These were great little vans. We had an 07 short one, SXT. A little fancier than this one. This one is maybe a Canada Value package or a base model, whatever they want to call it. But that was a great little van for tooling around. It had 3.3. I wish it had the 3.8 because it was kind of lame when you push the gas. 3.8 would really move these little things around. But anyway, that's in the past. They're all here now. Those vans. Come on, Rain. I want to get out of here while it's still Monday. If I had big enough muscles, I could have dragged that rear end in here and worked on it in here, and it could rain all at once. But that's a little heavy. Well, it's just sprinkling now. I'm going to venture back out there. Just as soon as I went out, it bloody opened up again. So I'm back in the van. So here's what I find interesting about this rear end and why I'm going to take it apart. Normally, once I found that it was a one-wheel peel, I would have stopped. But the axles on the end have the center punch and the two divots, which usually indicates it's a 31 spline. And now that is a big heavy car with a 460 engine. It's very possible that they put a 31 spline rear end in that. So mostly what I would be interested in is the 31 spline axles, because in my endless quest to find a track lock for my Galaxy, that I'm pretty sure is the exact same rear end. Everything under that car is the same as my Galaxy. And I'm willing to bet that if that's a 31 spline rear end, those axles will go right in mine. So the thing is, when you're looking for a track lock, a lot of the ones that you find are 31 splines because they come out of trucks and ultra, like old hypo, 428 cars and stuff. But there's lots of them in trucks. The trucks all had 31 spline axles. But most guys in cars can't use them because the cars were mostly all 28. And to go out and buy, you can buy the 31 spline side gears and modify your track lock from a 28 to a 31, but the two side gears cost almost as much as the damn whole new track lock unit. So I'm curious. I want to pull an axle out and see what it is, because having a pair of 31 spline axles kicking around for my car would just open up a whole bunch more stuff. I've passed up track locks because they were 31 spline. Well, let's see what we've got here. There we are. 31 spline. Perfect. How you tell is the 28 spline axles, they taper down at the end, back about here. 31s don't. We'll count them just to be sure. So yep, they check out at 31 splines. So we'll be grabbing the other axle and the center section. We'll see what's in there. All right, so there we go. We've got our 9-inch 31 spline center section and our pair of 31 spline axles that we hope will fit our old car. Time will tell. Now I got to get loaded up and get the heck out of here. I realized when I got this home that this was not a standard 9-inch. This is a 9 3/8, which they used from 1966 into the middle 70s when they had big power, big torque engines that were beyond 400, cubic inches. You had the 410 Merc, the 430 MEL, Mercury Edsel Lincoln, the 430 engine. And then in 1969, the 460 and the 429 came along, and they needed this thing to, in those big, heavy cars, to be able to just give it that little extra measure of strength that Ford wanted. You can see here that the pinion cage is just massive compared to this. This is a standard 9-inch case. You can see here it's got these two ribs wide apart. That's an instant, from the outside, instant telltale that you're dealing with a 9 3/8. This thing here, the standard 9-inch just has a single rib, and the nodular iron case, or the N case we call it, which kind of eventually replaced this thing, has two ribs close together, and sometimes it'll have an N cast in it there or there, but not always. So anyway, that's pretty cool. This thing, it's a 280 ratio. So it's a little bit better than what we got in our car now. We've got a 275 in there now, so it's marginally better, but yeah, so that's interesting. So it's and all 9 3/8, as far as I know, were 31 spline. I think they would have also probably used these in the 7-liter Galaxies, the 428 cars. I don't know if they used these in smaller cars like Torinos and Mustangs and stuff. Even the 428 ones, I think they used the 9-inch N case in those once it came along. I'm not sure. As far as I know, these things were strictly for big cars And I think trucks too, that you could probably find these things in trucks. But you have to kind of know what you're looking at before you start pulling them out, that's for sure. You might remember this 74 F100 from a couple of videos. We were looking at the 9-inch center in it. We thought it might have been a track lock, but it turned out to be a one-wheel peel. Anyway, let me see what show you what I find out. It's even hard to see now, but here's the tag. I misread this down the bottom. A1 is the axle code. I got all excited. What the axle code really is this one here, 17, which decodes to a 325 one-wheel peel. But it is a 31 spline, so that's a good thing to have. I'm gonna grab it. Well, so now you can see, even though the old wives' tale says if you see 1, 2, 3 holes, it's a 31 spline axle, you can clearly see that that is not a fast and hard rule. Because this, see how it tapers down there? That's 28 spline axle. But it doesn't matter. It's still a nice diff to have. Well, here it is. Got it out. It's in really nice shape, nice and clean. That's good. All right, here we've got some fresh meat. A bunch of trucks have just been put in here. And even the Fords and stuff, always just have a fast look at them, because you never know what kind of goodies they might have on them. I've been looking for a pair of hinges for a tailgate extender or a bed extender. It's got a nice set of Ford floor mats in it. Here we got a 3rd gen Sport. Let's open the door here and see what trim it is. Okay, it's not a Laramie, it's got the black dash, so it's an SXT. Dash isn't cracked. Lighted sun visors. I think this one is probably a tad newer than ours. Yeah, it's 04, 05. That gives it away. Pretty rotten old thing, isn't it? Tailgate's rotten, everything's rotten. So, tailgate don't close. Tailgate actually doesn't look too bad if you can get this stupid thing to close. Well, my mistake. Here we got an F-150 that's all done up, man. It's got, look, it's still got the wheel spacers on it. I see some Rancho shocks, so she's had a lift in her. Oh, a chrome rear end cover. That's something special. Looks like it had an exhaust on it. Yeah, this truck was done up pretty good. A hard lid. Cool. Look at the wheels that were on it. Wow. Some fancy brakes on the front. And look at this. It's got a great big friggin' winch in the front of it. But I guess it's probably all broken from whatever accident this thing was in. I'm not sure. Somebody got the synthetic rope out of it. But it's just a Princess Auto one, I believe. Looking inside if I could find the pendant for that winch. They're always handy to have, but doesn't seem to be any sign of it. I've been looking for one of these for a 3rd gen. They're always smashed. Now the only thing I'm not sure, this is a Sport. So I got to pop it off this Sport bumper and carry it over to a chrome bumper and see if it fits the chrome bumper. I'm not sure if they're the same or not. So you can see it mostly goes on. It does leave a little bit of gap because on the Sport, the plastic cover is put over top of this chrome rebar. So they need to allow for the thickness of it. But this will work for me because with the custom winch mount and everything that we put on our truck, I really needed to modify the license plate holder that was on it. But because I didn't have another one and I couldn't really find one, I was reluctant to do that. But now that I've got this, I can cut and hack to my heart's content and we can make it fit. Now next up we've got this O2. And it's kind of an odd duck. It's got a it's got chrome bumpers, but it's got a sport grill. Man, these things used to be gold. Guys could name their price for them and get whatever they wanted for them, and now they're just sitting in the junkyard. Sport grills. Everybody wanted one. Now they're laying around everywhere. So here's what I was talking about on that other truck. This is an 02. 02 and early 03s. You see this curved here, right? Starting in a late 03 or 04 for sure, they went to the straight 90-degree corner, like what's on that white one over there. And what happens, you see how these things blister up? The ones on our dually are blistered up. So when I saw that they'd put an 02 out here, I came running just to check it, but it's blistered on both sides, so it's no good to us. It also has a Laramie interior in it, which is in pretty decent shape. This seat's a little banged up. And one thing I noticed, when I sit in mine, the lumbar really bugs me. It really sticks out. I think somebody's gone and put some extra padding in there or something, because I sit in this truck and the seats are nice and comfy. They're just like the ones in my 4th gen. So that's something I'm going to need to look into. Back bumper's not too bad on this one. I've seen a lot worse. This one here, you can see it's a 3rd gen truck, but it's got a 4th gen tailgate on it. It is, guys are starting to do that now because they can't find 3rd gen gates, and the 4th gen ones are starting to pop up. It doesn't exactly fit perfectly. You end up with a little, this one's sitting down low for some reason, but you end up with a little funny business around here. But I mean, if all your only concern is that you need a tailgate, it works. This great big old compressor. It's got a Cowie engine on it. Wow. Engine's free and the compressor pumps. Huh. Weird. You can see that's how the license plate frames usually end up. It's a regular cab with an 8-foot box. A little newer. It's like an 05, 06. Or, pardon me, it's a square headlight one, so it's 06 or up. Oh, it says right there, 06. And what do we got in the back here? A transfer case. Rotten tailgate. Rotten, rotten, rotten. Everything is rotten. Rotten, rotten, rotten. All done in there. Now we're going to enjoy one of Deb's famous picnic lunches. Thanks, Deb. So here's the little 28 spline 325 we got today beside the 9 3/8 31 spline monster here. And it's hard to tell on the camera. It doesn't do it justice, but that thing is a beast. It's massive compared to this little guy. Anyway, but this will be that's a nice center, you know, 325, 28 spline. It's too bad it's not a track lock, but that's okay. Well, that was a fun couple of trips. I'm starting to become a bit of a Ford rear end guru. I never thought that would happen. I only know like a fraction of what actual experts on these things know, but it is nice to learn some new stuff and have enough knowledge to just be dangerous. Oh, well. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up now. Thanks for coming along with us. Hope you had fun. I sure did. And I guess we'll see you next time on the Claremont Classic Garage. And until then, I'm Kevin saying so long for now.